Let's finally talk about what happens when we have multiple variables in an equation. Remember, like terms are terms that have the same letter or even no letter. In our case, it's going to be constants, so terms that don't have a letter, and then variables. So usually it's going to be x. So when this happens, we pick a side to be the variable side, and then we pick the other side to be number side. Remember, we are creating an is statement. So if you look at number 1, we have parentheses, which means distribute. So I'm going to go ahead and distribute. I'm going to have 2 times x plus 2 times 4 plus 2x equals 24. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a side that's only going to have x's, and then I'm going to pick a side to only have numbers. If I want this side to be my x side, what I need to do is I need to get together my like terms. I have a 2x and I have a 2x. They are on the same side, so I don't have to use inverse operations. I can just combine them as I see them. So 2x plus 2x is 4x. So now that I have picked my x side and my number side, I want to move every single number to this right side. And I'm going to do that in the usual way. So I'm going to go ahead and do the opposite of add 8, and I'm going to subtract 8. And then this is multiply 4, so I'm going to divide. X is 4. So see how x is on this left side, and then my number is on this right side. X is 4. When I come over here, I'm going to do the same exact thing. Like I'm going to pick a side to be my x side, and I'm going to pick a side to be my number side. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and pick x on this side and my numbers on this side. It doesn't really matter, but that's how I'm going to choose it. So if I want x's on this left side, notice I have an x over here. That is a different side of the equation though. They're not on the same side. So if I want to get them on the same side, I'm going to have to move my 3x. And the way to move something to the other side is inverses. So I'm going to do the opposite, which means I'm going to add it. Notice it says subtract, so the opposite would in fact be to add. Those are going to cancel, right? Make 0. And I'm going to have 3x plus 3x, that's 6x. Notice I didn't do anything with the 5 because that is not a like term. Okay, that is a number, a constant. I have to put my x's together as like terms. So now I have all my x's on the same side, and so I want to move my numbers to this side. So I'm going to go ahead and start doing the opposite. So subtract 5, cancel, 6x equals negative 18, and then I'm going to divide. X is negative 3. X is negative 3. Notice x is on this left side, negative 3 is on the right side. So again, it doesn't really matter which side you pick to be your x and which side to be your variable. Normally, I like to pick my x side to be where my x's are already positive. So if you look at this equation, I have a negative x and then I have a positive 3x. So I'm going to go ahead and switch it up a little bit and pick my x side on the right and my number side on the left. The reason I'm doing that is because the 3 in front of this x is positive, whereas this one's negative, and it's just a lot easier to work with positive values. So if I want all my x's on this right side, I'm going to have to move this negative x. Okay, I'm going to have to do the opposite. So the opposite of this minus in front would be to add it. Cancel. I'm going to have 3x plus, and then I want you to think about like what number is in front of x if we don't have one. should be a 1 there, right? So 3x plus 1x is 4x. Then I'm going to go ahead and I got to move all my numbers to this this left side. And I want to keep my x's on the right side. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract 3. And then divide 4. And it is okay that we have a statement 1 is x. It's the same thing, right? I could write it this way and it'd be the same exact thing. Last but not least, let's distribute again. So I'm going to distribute. I'm going to have 5x subtract 10 equals negative 22 minus x. So again, I need to pick a number side and I need to pick a letter side or variable side. So I have a positive 5x over here and a negative x over here. Usually I'm going to pick my positive to be the x side. So I'm going to go ahead and pick the left side to be x this time. So I need to move over this minus x and I'm moving it to the other side, right? It's not on the same side. So I'm going to have to do the opposite. And then now that I have all my x's on the same side, I'm going to go ahead and move my numbers to the right side. So I'm going to do that by adding 10. And remember, if you need calculators for positives and negatives, that is totally fine. So I'm going to have negative 22 plus 10. It's negative 12. Divide by 6. X is negative 2. So again, like terms need to be combined, whether they are on the same side, like this one, or opposite sides, like this one. Same side, you don't need to use inverses. Opposite sides, you do. So pay close attention and remember to pick your x to be on one side and your numbers to be